Welcome to Failure is Progress, presented by Sweat Factory CrossFit. I am Coach Frankie Ortega.
And I am Coach Keith Barber. Join us today as we discuss everything going on inside the CrossFit space and, more importantly, what new and exciting things are happening in our Sweat Factory CrossFit gyms.
As always, thank you to all of our listeners. We appreciate the support and truly enjoy the feedback we've been receiving from all of you.
Please reach out through our DMs on Instagram. If you aren't already following us, please do so at Failure is Progress, all lowercase. And now, on to today's episode.
Failure is Progress, episode number 26. Keith Barber, my friend, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really poorly. I'm so sore, bro. I'm so sore. This is so dumb. I hate thrusters, everything about them. I'm sorry to start the podcast off on a bad note, but
I wasn't expecting that. That was great.
I hate thrusters.
I'm with you, man. I think everybody's with you. We're all pretty sore. 24.3 was not the most easy to recover from workout, but I actually really enjoyed it. Since we missed last week, let's get into 24.2, and then we'll get into 24.3. But first, let's talk about Festivus Games, which will be happening at Sweat Factory Claremont on April 20th, I believe.
Yes.
April 20th, we have signups open. It'll be for same-sex 3-person teams or individuals. So come out, have some fun. Make sure you sign up online. I think the T-shirt deadline
is March 23rd. So
you got March 23rd.
A little bit more time, but not much more time.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun event. Lots of fun. You'll be head judging that.
I'll be head judge. Jen is going to be the director as usual. So you know it's going to be running smoothly and on time because Jen don't play.
She does not. All right. Let's get into Open 24.2, man. 24.2 was 300-meter row, 10 deadlifts, and 50 single unders or 50 double unders.
Yep.
First question, how did you feel when you saw that the double unders and single unders were the same amount?
I felt for scaling purposes that was appropriate. If you're somebody who has the fitness level, like a more advanced fitness level, but you just don't have the skill of the dubs, then that's kind of on you to kind of just struggle through those double unders, unfortunately. But if you're somebody who doesn't have that more advanced fitness level, then doing those 50 dubs is probably going to make you just as tired as someone
singles.
Or singles, yeah. Doing the 50 singles is going to make you just as tired as someone more advanced doing the 50 dubs. So I feel like that was adequate. I personally don't like doubling the reps for singles because usually if someone is scaling to singles, it's because they're newer to CrossFit. They haven't developed the skills yet, and now you're basically, for lack of a better phrase, punishing them because they haven't developed skills yet. You know? If you are a more advanced CrossFitter, excuse me, and you had to scale that one, I don't think you should have scaled that one. I think you should have just struggled through the double unders and, use that challenge to reflect on later to be like, dang, I really need to get my stuff together and get these dubs.
Yeah, I agree. Doing it in scaled was it was fun. I didn't get through it as quickly as I had hoped I would. I can get my singles quicker, but dealing with those deadlifts, going into them, shoulders started wearing out. And if I had attempted the dubs, I definitely wouldn't have gotten this as close as I did. But yeah, I really liked that workout. I thought it was a fun workout. It was a long workout. All three of the workouts were in that 15 to 20 minute realm this year.
Yeah.
It was fun to see. I really anticipated a lot worse, I think. Aside from the thrusters in the last workout, I think everything else was pretty manageable. Straightforward. First one and last one were couplets. Very simple. It was fun to judge.
Yeah.
And in terms of managing the gym and setting it up and everything, it made setup very simple this year. So,
Yeah, so
really
much
appreciate
easier.
that. But yeah, man, it was a fun workout. So 24.3. It was 24.3 was 10. I'm sorry, 5 rounds of 10 thrusters and 10 chest to bars, and then 5 rounds of 7 thrusters at a heavier load and 7 bar muscle ups. Obviously, the scaled versions were different. How did you feel? We already know you're sore, but how did you feel about that one when you heard it?
I feel like the test itself wasn't that much different. Again, if you're like an intermediate to advanced CrossFitter, I feel like it wasn't that much different in terms of like energy system than the first one. The difficulty, like the skill difficulty of the workout, played a very minor role in how well you did in that workout. So again, and we're talking about for intermediate to advanced, so we're talking about like quarterfinalists, semifinalists, games athletes. For those athletes, I don't feel like it was that different of a test. Now, for our people that are still working on skills, then yeah, that was a very skill heavy workout because, you know, the butterfly chest to bar pull up as well as bar muscle up, those are very skill intensive movements. So for somebody that is still developing those skills, then yeah, your skills are going to play a part in how well you do in that workout. But like I said, for intermediate and advanced, like it's kind of just the same anaerobic capacity that you had to endure in the first workout. It was kind of the same for the third one as well. So I personally didn't see the value in the test itself. It was relatively speaking, fun workout because I like gymnastics. I hate thrusters. I'm not sure if I brought that up yet.
Tell me how you really feel.
But yeah, having the high skill gymnastics was fun. But like I said, I don't think that it was that much different test in fitness compared to the first workout. I feel like we already tested that energy system and we probably could have done something else. Like all it would have taken to was just to change the thruster to a power clean. And now we're actually testing how well you can maintain your skills under massive amounts of fatigue instead of how many reps can you do within this skill. And what I mean by that is by pre-fatiguing the lats, by pre-fatiguing the grip, now you have to make sure that you can manage your positions under very specific and localized fatigue. So literally just changing that one movement could have completely changed that test. And I would have seen more value in the overall test, like on the leaderboard, having certain people, jump others and things like that would have made more sense. For instance, 2 people that are in the top 5 in our gym, both of them beat me in that workout. But they didn't beat me by enough to jump me on the overall leaderboard.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because it was another capacity workout. Now, if we go to the skill side of things and you have to maintain the skills under fatigue, that could have drastically changed the leaderboard to whereas they would have jumped me because not everybody has that same capacity under localized fatigue. So, like I said, is it a good workout? It's a fantastic workout. Is it a good test? In my opinion, I didn't think so.
Not paired with 24.1.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So what do you think? I mean, I know you mentioned if you would have changed the thrusters for a power clean, but what do you think would have been a more adequate last workout for 24.3 that would have been more of an overall fitness test?
Great question. Really
And
good
I mean
question.
that for those listening, like pairing it with 24.1 and 24.2, what would have been a more complete fitness test overall for
For sure.
24.3?
I would have liked to see, like, keep the gymnastic skills and maybe have the barbell weight increase, like change it to a power clean and then see the barbell weight increase. So that way we are still testing like some type of strength endurance in there, because we did have a barbell with the deadlift, but it was so light that everybody could manage those loads. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We probably could have done something where still like a 10 rounder, but your first round starts at 95 and then we go to, 135, 185 or 155, you know, and increase the load over the course of the workout. And then still your first 5 rounds are chest to bars and your second 5 rounds are bar muscle ups. I think that would have tested a more well-rounded aspect of fitness rather than just thrusters and pull-ups again.
Yeah. I think one of the workouts that I really enjoyed last year, I don't remember exactly which one it was, but it was a you had to meet a certain requirement before unlocking like extra minutes. I kind of like those types of workouts because it gives more urgency. You know, we did have the tie break in this one, but I feel like the same sense of urgency wasn't there. You could have played the short game on this one and said, okay, I can't do bar muscle ups. I'm just going to worry about those first 5 rounds and get through those as quickly as possible to beat that tie break. Strategically, that played a big part as well. But I would have liked something similar to that, maybe a different type of gymnastic skill like handstand push-ups or something. And then, like you said, an increasing barbell load with a decreasing rep scheme would have been cool. But I mean, yeah, I think overall it was fun. It feels like a lot of things were missing from the Open. You know, we didn't have the wall balls. We did have thrusters.
Yeah.
There was only rowing. There wasn't any bike or running or anything like that. Last year there was the shuttle runs.
Yeah.
We did have the burpees. But yeah, there wasn't, I don't know. I'm cool with it. I think it was fun. I think their focus over HQ right now is more on what's going to happen next in quarterfinals, semifinals, because of the way they change things up where the top 25 gets in now.
Yeah.
I think it was more of an end game play for them where they wanted to make the Open a little bit more accessible for more people and then worry about making it more difficult as we go along.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think we still could have had like maybe make it the first 5 rounds and do like a part A, part B thing. So you have your first 5 rounds of your thrusters and your chest to bar pull-ups, and then like maybe a 1 rep or a 2 rep max front squat where you can like do a clean that counts as your first rep, and then you still have to do another front squat to count as your second quote unquote front squat. I think something like that would have been really cool to test like that strength aspect, but then
or like
you
a
still
complex.
have so you still have the skill component of the barbell with like being able to get into a full range of motion clean and then still hitting another full range of motion front squat.
Yeah.
Because then you're testing, your flexibility, you're testing your strength, you're testing your flexibility, you're testing the neurological components that we've spoke about before, agility, accuracy, balance, and coordination. I feel like your eyes were testing me just now. Like, I dare you to say them. I dare you. But yeah, so you're just testing more, in my opinion, well-rounded fitness. To your point, though, I do think that the Open this year, from a community aspect, was way more fun. Like watching you throw down and like hit that last workout RX, like being on the fence, like, oh, I don't know, I can't do chest to bars, or I'm not gonna get that many, and seeing you challenge yourself on a different scale was really nice. And there was a lot of people that were able to do that this year because of the structure of the workout. So from a community aspect, absolutely love the Open this year. loved the workouts. I thought they did an incredible job with the way they staggered it. Somebody mentioned before that the first one was like low barrier of entry as far as skills go. Everybody can do dumbbell snatches and burpees over the bar. The second one, you had to have a little bit more skills. Movement efficiency becomes, I mean, number one, the key aspect in that second workout. If you don't have very quality movement or very good movement efficiency, you probably didn't do very well in that workout, and you probably blew up your lower back. And then the last one is our highest skill one, obviously, where, you know, there's going to be the biggest separation between our advanced and our beginners.
Yeah, and to the point that you were talking about scaling, you know, I wanted to bring that up as well because, you know, that came up in the second 24.2 over at my gym where a few athletes said, hey, you know, I need to scale this one. And I said, no, if you did RX on the last one, you should stick to RX on this one. And they said, well, I can't do double under, so I shouldn't be doing this one. And it came up again, 24.3. If, you know, I can't do bar muscle up, so I'm not even going to attempt this. And so I was really uninformed. I did not understand that, or I wasn't aware that you could change from week to week. And if you did RX one week, then just go to scale the next, and your score would just obviously suffer. I also wasn't aware that the global leaderboard is all encompassing. It's all in one. I was under the impression that there was an RX leaderboard, a scale leaderboard, a master's leaderboard, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. I didn't realize that everybody's on there. Yeah. So that was a learning curve for me as well. I didn't do the RX workouts for 24.1 or 24.2 because I had in my mind the idea that if a bar muscle up or if a ring muscle up or a lot of handstand push-ups or handstand walks were part of any of the workouts, I wouldn't be able to compete. So I was like, in my mind, if I had done RX for the first one and then the next one had something with handstand walks, for example, okay, great, now I can't do it. That was my perspective, and scale wasn't an option. So I learned that, and thank you to those athletes that made me aware of this or challenged me on it and led me to learn about it. But then, yeah, in 24.3, I had already done the other two in scaled. I could have done them in RX, maybe not to the same extent, but I could have performed the movements and gotten somewhere. Now 24.3, I started thinking of strategically. I knew that I couldn't do the bar muscle ups, but I knew that I could maybe do a couple of chest to bars. And for me, it became a matter of, this is a thruster workout. My legs are going to be blown up, and I'm going to go from doing essentially squats to doing squats because I was going to be doing jumping chest to bars where I would be using predominantly my legs. And I feel pretty good about my pull-ups. I feel pretty good about my kips. I don't feel great about chest to bars. I'd never done them in a workout. I had only attempted them a couple times before. And one of those times was the night before when I was demoing the movement. So I have been working with you a lot, thank you, on trying to learn bar muscle ups. But I was like, you know what? I think strategically it makes more sense for me to just block out the first 5 and try to get through, or the first 5 rounds and try to get through that and just push through the chest to bars. And then I did judge Coach Gabriel over at Afterburn the day before, and he inspired me because I was watching him and he said, I'm just going to go for singles. I'll do the 10 thrusters, breaking up however he did, but he was just going to go for singles on the pull-ups. And I was like, okay, if I try to do it that way, I should be able to get at least 3 rounds, and that was my goal. You know, if I could just get through 3 rounds. And then the cherry on top of that was that by switching that last one to RX, I was able to move myself up higher in the leaderboard. But yeah, I didn't realize that CrossFit rewards RX workouts better or higher on the leaderboard altogether. So that was a big learning curve for me, man. I do want to go back and attempt these at RX at another point just for my own knowledge and to see how I would have done. But it would have been nice. I think I would have pushed myself a little bit further to try to get into those if I had understood better how it works. But I still did better. My goal this year was just to do better than I did last year. It's my second Open, and I'm proud of what I did. So, yeah, it was fun, man.
Yeah.
I got nothing to complain about.
Yeah.
I really don't. I'm not planning on being a games athlete or going to quarterfinals anyway. So,
And that, like I said before, that's not really what the Open should be about. It should be about the community. You know,
Yeah.
the games athletes are going to be who they are. But like, at first I was like, oh man, they changed it to top 25. This is lame. Like, I literally almost accidentally qualified for quarterfinals last year, and now they're making it quote unquote easier to qualify. And then I had to realize that I was being a jerk because there's a lot of people that would love to break into that quarterfinals realm who came, 80th percentile last year, or were like 76th percentile last year. And now they have an opportunity to come back and fight through the Open again to actually make quarterfinals. So to your point, like trying to go RX and realizing that it's a global leaderboard and you can like catapult yourself up the leaderboard just by doing the workout RX, like that gives you another fighting chance to qualify for that next stage,
Yeah.
and have even more fun.
yeah, and I mean, don't get me wrong. If I was to have qualified for something, I'd be ecstatic, right? I mean, however you look at it, we come to the gym every single day and we push ourselves and we sweat and in some cases bleed, right? So, being able to do this and see your rank in the world and know where you fall and having that long-term goal of, okay, well, for next year, I want to get a little bit better, maybe a lot of bit better. If you end up qualifying for something, that's a testament to how much work you're putting in day out.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, that is the goal. They do want to qualify. And I think it's cool that CrossFit made it a bigger percentage of the population that does CrossFit to be able to get to the next level, because it gives more people the opportunity to have that fun, have that community, right? Because it's a different community.
Yeah.
It's not your local community. It's not, even your local competition board. Now it's the global thing, right? So next step, now you get to be part of that community.
Yeah.
And involve yourself in that way and learn, so-and-so from the gym down the street from me is right there with me. Now I want to try to beat this guy. It could be just that. But I think the Open is such a fun way to get people hooked into what the CrossFit games are. Mm-hmm. At my gym in particular over Afterburn, I don't think a lot of my athletes understand games. I don't think they know games athletes. I don't think they understand the competition side of it, right? We've discussed this before. Like, it's so clear cut and dry when you're playing Pee Wee football or college football or high school football, and then you have the NFL.
Yeah.
Here, there's CrossFit, and then there's the CrossFit Games, and it's very confusing for a lot of people. The Open itself was confusing. The intramural Open was confusing.
Yeah.
But I think it's a fun time, like you said, for the community to get together, and it's up to us as coaches and also to us as veterans who have done it, even if it was just 1 year ago, to help introduce new people into it. My wife did 24.2. That was the only workout that she was interested in doing. She didn't want to do 24.1. She didn't want to do 24.3. She saw people doing it at Friday Night Lights, and she's like, I want nothing to do with that. Yeah. But, maybe next year she'll say, you know what, I'll do 25.1 and 25.2. Yeah. Little by little, her pace is different than mine and everybody else's. So I think it's fun to have that. And, the idea of what CrossFit is versus the idea of what the CrossFit Games are. Yeah. And what kind of machine that can be, right? Like, this is the kickoff of the season.
Yep.
It works a lot like NASCAR does. I don't know if you know much about NASCAR, but in the NFL, for example, you have the big show at the end of the season.
Yeah.
You have the same in baseball in hockey, for example. But in NASCAR, the big show is the first race of the year, the Daytona 500, that's like their main event, and it's the first one. This is kind of what that's like. The Open is kind of like the entry to the season, and now we'll have a bunch of different competitions on the way between quarterfinals, semifinals, etc. And then we do have the big finale, right? But this is kind of like the I guess we kind of get to have our cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
Because we have that big event at the beginning and the big event at the end.
Yeah.
But it's the kickoff. It's the kickoff, and it's fun, man. It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out and how we get to see some of our favorites this year. I really want to see what happens with Justin Medeiros.
Yeah.
Talking about the pros. I think last year things just didn't go his way. It was a series of unfortunate events.
Yeah.
And
I think he was just battling with a lot. He had the injury and then another injury during the games.
Yeah.
It was just,
But it'll be interesting to see what he does this year. Anybody you have high expectations for? You can't have intentions for other people, so you have to have expectations.
One is kind of a no-brainer, and then the other one might be a little shocking. But my first one is Roman Krenikov. I think he's looking really strong this year, especially going to the Rogue Invitational. And I think he came in second, or he won.
I think he came in second.
Yeah, I think he came in second. Yes, right, because Patty Vels took that one. He's the reigning champ of the Rogue Invitational. But, yeah, just seeing how he looked at the Rogue Invitational and seeing how much effort he's been putting in. And obviously I'm only looking at highlights on Instagram and stuff like that. So it could be more that's going on behind the scenes. But, no, he's looking really good. And then Jay Crouch, which they had in the Open announcement.
Yeah.
I've been following him a little bit more closely after last year when he shocked everybody and came in the top 10. I was like, oh, okay, this kid's legit. I mean, he's a games athlete, so he's legit. But yeah, he's really gunning for it. There's some people that are just content calling themselves a games athlete, and then there's some people that they really want it and they're hungry for it. So I think he's gonna shock a lot of people and be a contender for sure.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun to watch him, man. I was listening to the announcers talk about how I think it's his third or fourth year, something like that. He's still relatively new, but it's gonna be fun to see him. There's a bunch of new faces.
Yeah,
there's a bunch of new faces, man. I'm really excited to see Nick Matthew again. I think he's a stud. I don't know how high he'll go up there, but I think he's a fun character to watch. He reminds me a lot of what's the name of the Marine that used to battle with Froning a lot. Yeah, he was at Fit Fest. Mustache, X Games athlete.
Oh, you're talking about Josh Bridges?
SEAL.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, he was a Navy SEAL.
Josh Bridges.
Yeah, Josh Bridges, yeah.
He reminds me a little bit of Josh Bridges.
Yeah.
And if you ever hear this, Josh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to call you.
Yeah.
But yeah, he reminds me of him a lot. He seems like he's a fun guy to be around.
Yeah.
What about on the female side? Anybody surprise you?
On the ladies' side, I'm kind of gunning for Laura Horvath again. I kind of want her to win it again.
Against Tia?
Against Tia, just to solidify her first title, because everybody's like, oh, she only won because Tia wasn't there. And so, I love Tia. She is the GOAT. I mean, six rings, you can't beat that, right? That's the Michael Jordan of CrossFit. But I don't like all the shade that's coming towards my girl Laura. She wasn't there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't get to say that she would have won. She didn't show up. She didn't win. So I kind of want her to solidify it to everybody else and be like, look, I do this. I win CrossFit games. That's what I do. But I wouldn't be mad if Tia won it again. I mean, she's
I would.
Just a force to be reckoned with.
I have high hopes for Lexus Raptis.
Dude, I was just about to say
She
that.
she has come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I didn't realize. I think this is like her third games.
Yeah.
She's come on really strong, and I also want to see Alex Kazan.
Yeah.
She's just beast mode
Yeah.
all the time, and it's exciting to see her. So it's gonna be fun, man, to see where these ladies and men fall.
Yeah.
Gonna be a fun season. I'm definitely seeing it from different eyes now. Like, I've learned so much in the past couple of years. Now I'm watching. I'm like trying to watch their technique,
Yeah.
trying to judge them on the screen. But yeah, man, this was definitely fun. Second CrossFit Open, and you were third, fourth.
My third like official, like I signed up
Still
for
can't get over that.
CrossFit Open, but this is probably my ninth CrossFit Open of me like just participating and doing the workouts. But yeah, I've only signed up for 3.
Insane. Insane. You're a baby on paper. On paper.
Yeah.
All right, man. Anything else you got for this one?
Nope. As always, guys, please subscribe and like us on Instagram and Spotify and leave us a comment, leave us a review. All of that stuff helps us out. We appreciate you guys for listening. We're going to try and bring you more interesting content. If you have something that you want us to talk about, please, please, please let us know, and we are more than willing to talk about it. We might even have you on the show. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, we might.
We might. It's a possibility. We're definitely open to it. If you pay us enough. No, I'm just kidding. Just jokes. You don't have to pay us. We may have to pay you, but buy you lunch or something.
I don't know about that either, man. We need to talk about this stuff before we start recording.
I know. I got to stop putting my foot in my mouth. All right. Nothing I just
Keith
said.
will pay you.
Yeah. In the last 30 seconds, none of that is legit. Other than write us a review, like, comment, share. We love all that stuff. Thank you guys so much for listening week to week, and we appreciate you.
Thank you guys for the support. Have a beautiful week. Take care.
care.